Okay, Swindapi, Native Wellness Institute. We're a little bit late for Wellness Wednesday Power Hour. I just am in Browning, Montana. It's a little bit of a windy day. We're here at the 22nd annual Blackfoot Confederacy meeting. And so I Nistu Didaniko Mokoyo Sekoyi. I'll just come out into the sun a little bit. We're at the Stick Game Arbor, which is in the background. And in the background is Browning, Montana. We have a few hundred representatives from Siksikai, Kainai, and Abutsapikani and Amskapipikani, the Blackfeet, who are gathering to unite and to celebrate all of us that have survived a pandemic. So this is the first time. So I'm just coming to you on Wellness Wednesday. We were in the middle of a stand-up headdress transfer right at the normal hour, noon on Pacific time. So we waited till the ceremony was over, and now we have Dr. Esther Tailfeathers, who is telling us about the solutions and problem solving the opioid and fentanyl crises. So I thought I would come out and not let the day go by without some good news with you. I see, this is Browning wind. They always say, you know why Blackfeet walk like this? Because the wind is blowing us around. I thought I would come out with the sun, but it might be the wind. It doesn't look like the wind's going to calm down. So let's go. You can hear me. It's been amazing, amazing, amazing. The Blackfoot Confederacy with CEO Jack Royal and Carol Mason, part of the staff. We have all of the Ori. Crowfoot came, the chief of Siksikai, with all of his staff and his council. We had all of Piikani Nation, which is 4 women and 4 men are here from Brockett, Alberta. And then we have our own esteemed leaders, Councilman Patrick Armstrong, Everett Armstrong. We have our Heart Butte representative here. I'm just they're meeting, so I can't take you inside. I just wanted to name a few. So we have all of our chief and council here from the Blackfoot Confederacy. And so the first day, I'll just tell you want to hear something positive, productive, and proactive, is they had what was called an egg summit. And they were able to, we haven't met since before the pandemic. Each of the tribes got to describe what was best happening with them. And our Blackfeet Nation, Skapipikani, was able to describe all of the accomplishments. Craig Iron Pipe talked about the solution of 600 feral horses that were taken care of, and how there is a strategic plan to take care of, since we are horse people. We had a lot of our, the wind, I'll start, they'll say, what happened? She blew away doing the power hour. But we were able to hear about the 1.5 million acres here on this reservation, and each of, in the, up in the Kainai area, Chairman Roy Fox was able to describe to us the income and the prosperity. Now they call it Timothy, and that's just like grass. Each of the Siksikai, Kainai, Abutsapikani was able to describe what kinds of grass they were growing, what kinds of hay they were putting up, what kinds of water accomplishments the Blackfeet were able to talk about. They just, Councilwoman Shelley Hall just announced a $15 million grant to look at the water, the irrigation on the Blackfeet Reservation, specifically to see that the water is coming to benefit our people. Some of the crowd stood up and asked questions that they thought a lot of our water around Forehorn and other places was being maneuvered off to the Hutterites and other non-native white people. And so anyway, there's a plan, and our councilwoman Shelley Hall was able to share that with us. The other good news that happened that day is that we started with prayer. We started with John Murray giving us an overview of a lot of the land with cultural solutions. So there was a lot of songs, there was a lot of prayers, there was a lot of acknowledgement of elders. There was a grand entry of all of our chiefs, all of our royalty. Miss Blackfeet, Tiny Tot got up and spoke fluent Blackfoot, introducing herself, and that she prays for all of us. There was the Kami Poismanix, the women's stand-up headdress, and that's why we're coming to you a little bit late. We just had a headdress transfer of Laverna McMaster. Her from Sixikai, her grandma was in leadership, her mother was in leadership. They often put up, had a lot to do with the prayers and the family around the Okon at Sixikai. So this was our day, our second day. We're into our third day today. Our second day was a grand entry of honoring all of our chiefs and thanking the female chiefs, the male chiefs, for all the work that they've done so far. And this was just a beautiful thing. So I guess I'm just sharing Wellness Wednesday. We come to you, Native Wellness Institute comes every Wednesday to talk about the positive, productive, and proactive stuff that happens in Indian country. And most of you know this is where I was born and raised and where I live. Or one of the accomplishments is this dance arbor right here that you're looking at. We hear different things. It's $9 or $11 million, but it's a dance arbor that is in phase 2. We'll have air conditioning, heat for the elders, have a green rooms for concerts. You're looking at Browning, Montana. And so one of the things that was announced and spoke about was from Blackfeet Community College. I just want to give a shout out to all of the 38 tribal colleges. The tribal colleges are really proactive in coming up with cultural solutions. And one of the things that they announced to us that was just so cool is that they have a building coming in that's portable that you can process buffalo meat, process elk meat. It has to do with food sovereignty. A lot of the egg topics were around food sovereignty and medicinal plants and harvesting them for our people, not for sale necessarily. But that building was also, they showed us the scheme of it's being delivered. I guess it's mobile, so mobile butchering. I mean, you know, how badass is that? It's just so awesome. So what I would like to share with you today is we're seeing in action using the culture. We have a lot of our Horn Society here, our Motokeeks, that's a Buffalo Women's Society, the Ganaxtimata, a young man that just walked for missing and murdered, just got up and spoke. He was with the English family, Patsy English, just showed us a board that we had compiled with all of the missing and murdered in the Blackfoot Confederacy with their names. The families put their names, how old they were, how long they've been missing, or if they've been murdered. There's also, and it was for the purpose of prayer. And so I guess, you know, the topic of today is it's time for us to come together in prayer and ceremony around solutions. And we're witnessing this live here in Browning, Montana with this 22nd annual Blackfoot Confederacy. We have all of our elected leaders, but we also have what I would call the esteemed patriarch. Our men, our grandpas are here. We also have our matriarch leaders are also present. A lot of the grandmas in the room, and there's just been such protocol of honoring. We just had a big feed. Elders were brought delicious meal, just not, potato chips and bologna sandwich, although that's good. There was a lot of so the communication. So one of the things I personally, this is my native wellness dedication today to do the power hour, but I took the week off and for self-care, and I slept 8.5 hours last night because I was so happy. I was just so incredibly happy because I was with my own people, my own cousins, my own aunties, my own uncles, and I was so happy because I got to see some of my relatives that I hadn't seen since 2019. And yesterday, one of the accomplishments is we have a territory map, and it's called a heat map. It was taken with drones over all of our territory, and it showed where most of us live, but it also it went out. It wasn't we weren't letting the borders, like the medicine line or the border between Canada and United States, are the borders between Montana and North Dakota, or Montana and Wyoming. We didn't let the borders. It's they're calling it a heat map. And so we listened to stories all yesterday afternoon of historical markers. Joyce Spoonhunter and John Murray spoke about all of the carbon data of our markings as far away as Utah, southern Wyoming, out to the coastal lands, going north up into the Northwest Territories by Edmonton. It's called, so we're defining the Blackfoot territory. And so right now the communication is on either side. There's been findings. I mean, we find a Niskum, which is Blackfoot. We find medicine wheels as far away, 1,000 miles south, 1,000 miles that way. We find, because the Blackfoot would always put markings, and so we're defining our territory. And at the same time, we're taking into consideration the laws and what we live by under the federal government, the provincial government in Alberta, the federal government in Canada, and also the federal government in the United States. I'm just trying to walk where this actually feels good. This actually feels good to be blown around. But one of the things that we're realizing and it's the self-care of belonging. There has been so much, Blackfoots, they kiss each other on the lip and they hug each other. And we haven't got to hug since in our grief healing. There has been so much laughing, hugging, greeting, gift giving. The chief of Sixikai, Ori Crowfoot, he seen me, and him and his partner Tracy, and there's just so many that came from Sixikai. He said, I want to give you something. Sometimes and he's the chief. When you have the esteemed leaders, and he opened this nice fancy box, and this is what he gave me. And it's a treaty medal. and I'm wearing it today. And I used to see my ancestors wear this with their dance outfit, and I used to see them wear these. And he just said, you know, he calls me the badass auntie, but he said, I know you've done a lot of work, badass auntie. He said, so I want to acknowledge this is a treaty medal, because I know you help with the current treaties, the past treaties, and the treaties we're going to make. And he said, even reservation dogs. So look at this medal that I just go, oh my God, you know. So that kind of gift giving. There's blankets being given. And then tomorrow, for 22 years, we have a buffalo hide with our Blackfoot Confederacy logo, which you can faintly see in my name tag. It's a medicine wheel, but we have it painted on a tanned buffalo hide. And there's also a drum that was made, and it looks like an ancient drum, but it also has the logo on it. And it will be passed. So they'll have a meeting, the chiefs, and who will host this next. And so I guess some of my message to you today is around giveaway and communication and planning your next meeting. We just heard from Patsy English that her family is planning 4 walks, one from Ottawa to Brockett, one from Vancouver to Brockett, one from Edmonton to Brockett, and then one from here to Brockett, in the 4 directions. And that's to help with, because her 2 grandchildren were murdered and left in a landfill in Calgary. But they're planning in 2024, part of our communication, and we just, you know, the Native Wellness Institute is, what are you planning next year? I know our Native Dads network is doing healing with braids on the 18th of November. I know that next week I'll be at, we just acquired, our good news is the Presbyterian Charters of the world just gifted us 2.5 acres called Barbie's Village. A lot of that work due to our executive director, Jolene, and the crew. They just gifted it to us. So I'll be leaving here, and those of you who will be there at Barbie's Village next week doing a gathering of Native Americans, training of trainers. I know that White Bison, our Native Fathers and Families Association, Al Pooley, is meeting, I think in Phoenix or in Mexico. They're meeting this week. And that's a curriculum that is helped so many families. Mike Duncan, Albert Titman, Mary Hummingbird, Sergio, all of them, they're out there. So part of, I think, what Native Wellness Institute would like to encourage is communicate. There's something happening, a healing gathering across the country, because we have learned that during the pandemic, we need to come together and we belong together. Last night, as I was going home and making, it was dark already, and made my smudge, and I had to cry because of all the good things that happened yesterday. And so this is going to be not quite the long power hour, but I just wanted to come out. We couldn't come right on the time. We usually come to you every Wellness Wednesday at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, noon Pacific time, every Wednesday. But I just wanted to not let this lapse and just have nothing to come on. And, I was just, I stand before you, and I'm so, so glad I'm sober. I am so, so glad that I'm not completely healed, but I'm so glad that I'm at a place where I live one day at a time, that I trust God. I'm so glad that my mother is sitting in there. My sister Lori is sitting in there, and all my cousins are in there. So we're gonna make this a short power hour. I see some of you. I'm sending you a hug. I just ask you to share this, and our message is, to keep the communication going. you know, and tell people you love them. Tell people you forgive them and that you want to start over. Tell them it's a new day. And you know, I'm gonna go in here and listen to Esther Tailfeathers, and then my niece Amber Williamson may be speaking. They're talking about suicide prevention, and then we have an elders panel, and that's kind of my R&R. So with that, I'm gonna just say Kitsikako Mim, I love you very much. You know, we're in Browning, Montana. We're at the 22nd annual Blackfoot Confederacy meeting, and this is Nistu Nidaniko Mokoyo Sakoyi. It's my second Blackfoot name that I'm growing into, and it means Milky Way or Wolf's Trail, and I feel it. I can feel the star people. I can feel the ancestors. Peter Weasel Moccasin said the beautiful prayer this morning. Jesse DeRozier is the MC. We have all of Carol Mason. We have all of the staff here. So I'm going to go back in, and plus it's freezing ass. I think it's about 45, and I'm just, you know, anyway, we got to toughen up, acclimate to the cold weather. So with that, I just wanted to come on. It's Wellness Wednesday, just a short message, and that we love you very much, and we'll see you next week.